Hello and welcome to Lesson 12, brought to you by the American Institute of Techniques and Management. In this lesson we'll be talking about quality of viewing the data. Basically I want to begin with going back a bit to Lesson 11, so let's open it for now. In the previous lesson, as you might remember, we were talking a bit about filtering. Also about conditional formatting. We went over all of these steps. We spoke how to use them, how to work with them, how to divide the data, how to search for data, and how to show the data you found in a proper way. So today I would like to use those tools and work also on the workbook level, because until now we were working on the data level, and now I will show you how to work on the workbook level of data validation and searching for data if you do not want to use the search or any others. So first off, what you have to do is let's go back to the data, and over here please remember you have the filtering. So how does the filtering work? So basically you mark the data and select it, and this is how you work with it. You also have the grouping data, which is already a higher level. It's not data working, it works actually with the rows and columns. So for now we will work with the not review but view tab. And in the view tab you actually have a few positions I want to talk about. First off, you obviously have the workbook views. I told you in the beginning how this works, that you have the page break view, you have the page layout view, and in this type of in here you have the specialized custom view with which you create special print settings and heading rows. But this is, as I said in the beginning, it's much more advanced, so let's stay with the normal view for now. So we'll be able to see everything properly. Great. Next off, you have the show view. You have the show view in which you can operate with the formula bar, the headings, and the grid lines. So let's remove the formula bar, and this is how you simply remove the formula bar. I do not recommend for you to do this because this is very useful, but maybe when you have a presentation in which you want to show the data, it's sometimes good to hide the formula bar, not to allow anyone to see the formulas you have in here, so they wouldn't be they would be more concentrated on the data you are showing right now. Next up, you have the headings. So by removing the headings, you see that the column names and the row names simply are gone. Next up, you have the grid lines. So the grid lines are those lines in the workbook itself. So by removing them, they're still there. The addresses don't change. It's just and only the view from the viewpoint. Next up, you have the zoom part. So the probably most useful button here is the 100% zoom, which shows you the actual size of view. You can also see this over here, that the 100% is the real view, and this will tell you how big the data is to print it out on a A4 page format. You of course have the zoom to section button, which works as if you click somewhere and then click the zoom to section, it zooms it out to the maximum you have. For me it's 400%. So let's go back. Next off, you have the window tab, and I will be telling you a bit about the freeze panes, but before that I want to show you what does the new window button do. Let's click it, and what you see right now is two windows with basically the same data. It's exactly the same, but you have the Mark 2, and here you have the Mark 1 version. So if you do any changes in either of those versions, let's write in 1.1 and now click Save. Let's go back here. you can see that you have the same change over here. So this is basically operating on the same file, but you have two windows. This helps you to work with vast amounts of data if you have 2, 3, 4 screens. So basically this button allows you to work with multiple windows if you have a few screens, or if you can divide your window if you have the possibility and your screen is big enough to actually work on a few windows. Okay, so let's lock these two. We don't need them really. Okay. Great. Now, next off in the View tab, you have the split and hide and the freeze panes. Okay, let's go over the freeze panes first off, because I think this is very important and very useful. I'll just customize the window. Great. So, what does the freeze panes do? Basically, when you scroll over through a screen, like this one over here, let's go down, you can see that we lost the top row in which we had the names of each column, and this is really useful to use this, because if you lose the view of columns, you don't really know what's here, what this column means, or what this column means. You know the data inside, but you're not sure if this is Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, or Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. You're not sure about this, and I'm not sure how your memory, but I would definitely forget what's the name of each of these. So what you can do is you can actually freeze a row or a number of rows. So when you zoom, when you scroll down, it will allow you to freeze this pane. So how do we do this? We basically go to the freeze panes and use the freeze top row. When we push this button, we can see that when we scroll down, in this really easy manner, you always see the first row, and you can basically work on this data much easier. It's much it helps you a lot. I actually use this option all the time when you work on data with Excel. This speeds your work. It's really useful. And please note that when you freeze this row, nothing changes in the functions or anything. This is still the first row. The numbers of the row don't change. So if we go back to the top, you'll see that the second, third, everything's fine with all the other rows. So nothing changes with them. You can still filter everything. You can still work on functions or anything else. So this is how to do it with the first row. But when we scroll down, it's okay. But when we go to the right, well, we would like to see the first column also, because it also has a name over here. Just to show you what I mean, I'll copy this. Now, maybe without the name, because this would be just stupid. So let's copy this part of the data, go back, and paste. So it just doesn't. The amount of data over here doesn't doesn't fit the window at all. To see this data, you lose the top column from the left. So I would like to see the top column right now, the most left one. And so to do this, first off, we have to unfreeze the top row. So let's do it now. So the row has been unfrozen, and now we go to freeze first column. When we do this and move to the right, you can see that the first column is frozen, and you can see and compare anything you have over here. So if you're interested in seeing what customer but what product, you can simply do it this way. And also you can just go to the percentage and check out the percentages of each and every product. It's really easy and useful for comparing data and just working with it. Okay, that's great. But what if I wanted both? What if I wanted both the column and the row? Because right now, if I move up and down, I lose the top row, but I have the top column frozen. So how to do it? Well, basically, it's also really easy. If we want to do it, first off, we have to go to the freeze panes and use the unfreeze panes button. Second off, you have to remember one thing. The freeze panes button, which is over here, keeps rows and columns visible while the rest of the worksheet scrolls. So it has one rule. Basically, the place you click your mouse, the cell that is has been pinpointed right now, everything around it is being frozen. So if you click it over here in the B2 column, let's freeze panes right now and see what happens. We froze the first row, and we froze the first column. So right now I froze both of them, but remember, I clicked on this one, not the A1, but on the B2. What do I mean? Well, it freezes everything around it, but from the left and from the top. So basically, if you want to freeze, let's say, from over here, so we want the category also be frozen and the B column, you would have to click over here, since this is the left border of the marked cell and the top border of the marked cell. So by clicking over here, let's go to unfreeze the pane and freeze panes again, and see what happens. See, category 1 is frozen, and also the B column is also frozen. Yeah, and that's basically it. Let's unfreeze them, and for now let's leave them over here as frozen. Great.